Thank you so much for tuning in, and in this video I'll show you how I create a solid contour foundation, and I will be using this kinky extension. It's very light, very breathable, and again, I don't know how long you've been struggling to balance contour with kinky extension, so stick around before your next install. So I have these kinky braids that I'll be using on a contour so that it stays longer, and you can use either of these two crochet. Of course, I have my comb, and also I do have my clips for control. Okay, so today I'm working on 14-inch hair. Her hair is 14-inch long. Okay, so we're gonna have a side part cut, and I'm gonna begin by dividing her hair into 3 sections to make it easier to manage and ensure that each braid gets an even amount of hair. Okay, so dividing her hair into 3 will help to maintain balance and fullness across the entire head. Okay, so I do hope you understand. That's why I'm gonna divide her hair into 3. So here we go with my first section, and I'm just gonna use my clip to secure it for control. And then now I'm gonna do the second section and the third. So here we go. Just take your time, and I'm just doing this randomly. I'm not using no gel. Okay, so here we go again with my second section. I'll secure it with my clip. Okay, so this is what I mean by dividing the hair into 3 sections. So up to this point, I do hope you get to know how I do my foundation. So we're gonna begin by doing now the cornrows, and for your cornrows to meet perfectly at the back, you need to reduce the size at the back. Okay, yeah, so here we go again with the kinky extension. So I'm gonna be using this extension at least for the contour, at least to last longer. Okay, so once I finish with the contour, I'll show you exactly where and how to fill in here to achieve a seamless and balanced look. Okay, so this method is helpful when working with kinky extension, as it keeps the style natural and uniform. Okay, so thank you so much for catching up with me up to this point. Remember, if you have any question, you can just drop them in the comment section below this video, and I promise I will answer everything. Okay, so I'm gonna see you guys in a bit. Okay. so much for catching up with me up to this point. I'm super excited to have you here so that you learn this with me, okay? So I'm just tucking in the last section of braid. I'm tucking in on this particular line, and this is very important because I'm gonna let her know exactly where I have tucked in so that it's gonna be easy for her during the day she will be unfixing this, okay? So I'll count from the left and tell her exactly where I have tucked in so that whoever will be undoing it for her, she won't cut her hair, okay? So here we go with the castor oil. I'll just moisturize her scalp before I do I start to crochet, okay? So now let's break it down and see each cornrow gets an even amount of hair, okay? So here I have 7 strands, as you can see. So 4 to the front and 3 at the back, okay? So to the back here, to the back, here is the trick that I'm gonna use. So you can space them either 2-inch or 1-inch apart, depending with your client's desire. And with my client today, she wants a full loop, and to the back, I'll just be spacing them 1-inch apart, okay? And to the front, I'm putting them close to each other. That is with the black extension, as you can see. So all this is for the first section, okay? The first section that we begin with. Remember, we have 3 sections, okay? So for the second section, we're gonna see for the second section, we're gonna see again how many extension each line are gonna take after this bit, okay? I'm still here with you, and today I feel like I am talking too much, but at the end of the day, I want you to do this perfectly, especially if you are a beginner, okay? So we are done with the first section, and here we are in our second section, okay? So here on each line, I'm gonna be feeding in 4 pieces of kinky extension on each line, the way you're seeing, and I hope you're getting everything right. I hope I am not confusing. Thank you so much for watching, okay? So just as to remind you, on the first section I was feeding in 7 pieces of kinky extension, and here to the second section I am feeding in 4 pieces of kinky extension on each line, okay? So I prefer this cornrow foundation if you are a beginner because it gives you full control to balance and maintain fullness for the entire head, okay? So if you're finding this helpful, don't forget to like and share with your braid loving friends, okay? So let's move to the last part. That is our last section, the third section after this bit, okay? So remember, when we are done, I'll just break it down to you where you can just fill in to balance the entire hairstyle, okay? So when when I'm done to feed in, so we feed in the first section. Here we are in the second section, and then we are moving to the last section. And then when we are done again, I'll let you know exactly where to fill in so that you will achieve that full balance hairstyle, okay? So stay tuned for that, and thank you so much for watching up to this point, okay? now, before I forget, it took me 3 hours only to do this. So far, this is what we have for a full loop. And now let's move to the third section. I will feed again 4 kinky extension on each line. Despite the last line, I will feed in 3 kinky extension. Okay, so on this last section, I'm gonna be feeding in 4 pieces of kinky extension on each line, despite the 5th line. Okay, so I do hope you can see that clearly. So we are almost done, so that I can show you exactly where to fill in for that seamless natural look. So stick around for that. And for me, I count this hairstyle as a protective hairstyle because her scalp is more accessible, the way you're seeing, for moisturizing and treatment anytime, any day she may feel like. Okay, so this hairstyle again has low maintenance and it requires a less daily styling, and it can last up to 8 weeks, okay, with proper care. Okay, so this hair is affordable and can be reused. It's very light and breathable, the way you're seeing, and you can actually do twist outs with this kinky extension, and it can be also installed in multiple patterns. Okay, so comment below this video if you want part 2 of this type of content with a different braiding pattern. Okay, so remember, I've mentioned earlier, all questions are welcome, and I promise I will answer everything. Okay, so to maintain this kinky extension, you can use a sheen spray to just add sheen. So here we are, like I promise, I will just show you exactly where to fill in for that seamless natural look. And here we are, just close to the last to the last piece of kinky extension that is on the first section. So I'm just gonna be add a little bit of hair here, the way you're seeing, and that is how I just fill in so that I achieve that seamless natural look. And it's just as simple as that, and I do hope you can do this better than me. I remember this hair is very, very light. It's affordable. And yeah, so this is all that I had for you guys for today. I do hope you've learned something and you're ready to give this a try. So she wanted a full look, and this is what she got. This is very beautiful. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I do appreciate your time, and I'll see you in my next video.